holiday this year in England because of COVID-19, so let's take a look around Manchester and go to the National Football Museum. I've gone with my friend Tom Short, who doesn't know very much about football. So what does he make of the whole place? Here's Tom with George Best's car.
This is George Best's Mini, which, given his life choices, he presumably was able to drive very little throughout the course of his life.
Tom was then introduced to the Premier League trophy, which he took a fairly dim view of.
Am I right to stand with the trophy?
You can stand with it, yeah, just not touch it.
Of course.
Don't touch it, don't knock it off.
It's absolutely
Don't even look at it just in case it doesn't fall off.
I'm not allowed to even touch this due to, I think, how fat I am. They're like, no, you're not fit enough to touch that trophy.
So we'd better find out what it's all about from the experts. This is Dickie Felton from the National Football Museum.
This is the National Football Museum. We've been in the city since 2012. We are the National Museum for the beautiful game, which was obviously created in England. So we look at the origins of the game right through to the present day. We look at the players and the trophies and the tournaments, but we also look at the fans' experience of going to the match, so ticket stubs, programmes, football culture, fan culture. So really we do have everything in relation to English football and world football.
Yeah. What would you say is the most popular exhibit that we've got here?
Well, we've got lots of things here, so it's very difficult to pick out my personal favourite one. People love the 1966 section. Obviously it's the only time England ever won a World Cup. So we've got Jeff Hurst's famous red England shirt where he scored a hat-trick against Germany. We've also got the match ball from that match. So certainly 1966 is a very, very popular section. We've also got some infamous things as well. So for instance, the shirt Diego Maradona wore in 1986 when he scored the Hand of God goal against England, which knocked England out of the Mexico World Cup.
There's also the fact that football represents society. Did you know that in 1921 the English Football Association actually banned women's football?
But I think we also tried to tell the stories and give voices to fans as well. We also look at maybe players that you might not have heard so much about. For instance, Lily Parr, who was a famous women's footballer in the 1920s. We have a statue to Lily here, and we're going to run with quite a big major exhibition about women's football next year. So
one of my favourite parts of the National Football Museum are the photographs of Stuart Roy Clark, who spent years photographing crowds and scenes at football matches. I think these Everton supporters might have been photographed in the 1980s. Many people question whether football should be political. Well, here's your answer. And behind me is the very shirt worn by Diego Maradona when he scored the Hand of God goal against England in the '86 World Cup. The cheating Argentinian git. You know, there are many great works of art around the world. There's Picasso, there's Rembrandt, the Mona Lisa. But for me, this is magical art. When we look at that, Germany 1, England 5. Not a score that we see very often, but proud to have it here in the National Football Museum. If, like me, you're a complete anorak and enjoy collecting football shirts and spend half your time wearing a football shirt despite having no ability whatsoever, why, the museum is absolute heaven. Come on, look at some of these designs. There's even a football shirt design hall of shame. Probably the worst football shirt ever designed was this one. It was the Fiorentina away shirt from 1992. The designer decided to come up with something really jazzy and put lots of black markings all around the sleeves. However, what you'll notice is that round the player's badge, the lines actually come together to form designs of swastikas. You can see that, can't you? I don't think it was intentional, but the shirt was withdrawn. And what's Tom got up to? Oh, he's playing a game. But anyway, what do these people think all about the National Football Museum?
So I think it's brilliant, especially as a big football fan. The best bit for me is seeing the 1966 World Cup in the flesh. And also being a Man United fan is seeing all the stuff on the 99 stuff as well. So
Can you tell us about your day at the Football Museum? Are you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I've got two footy mad boys, so it's definitely something to do with them. I've actually been interested myself because it's going through the history of football as well, and it was even telling you about history of football with women. The boys are loving it. It's what they're interested in. It's their passion. So it's learning, but it's fun, which is always a thumbs up from mums. Keep them busy.
So we're fully masked up. I've had a day out at the Football Museum in Manchester. What do you make of it? Well, we learned.
I enjoyed Pickles the dog.
The dog who found the World Cup.
Yes, it's a funny name and a funny story. And I thought it was dead good how it's getting more progressive.
And it teaches us about society, and we've learnt a lot about ladies football as well.
We've learnt loads. They're dead good.
So there you have it. Football and the National Football Museum is officially dead good.